I wanted to make this little video as a follow-up to a video that I made recently in which I used some kind of strong language around my exploration of gender and sexuality. I said, it feels like I'm coming out as gender fluid and coming out as somebody who is naturally non-monogamous. And while that still definitely feels true, especially after hearing some of people's feedback and questions, I thought it would be helpful for me to speak a little bit more about what I really mean by that. And apologies to anybody who feels like I'm kind of commandeering existing language about this stuff. I admit that I am fumbling and stumbling as I try to find my way back to a really, truly authentic sense of self. And it's really helpful to have so much wonderful language that did not exist when I was going through adolescence. I feel like I'm going through a second adolescence here at almost 38 years old. But in the 90s, when I was having my biological adolescence, there wasn't as much of this language from queer culture. There wasn't, and I, at least not that had made it into the mainstream enough for me to be around, even though there were some LGBTQ people in the community where I was. It just wasn't as available, and I'm just really, really grateful that there's more. That I feel like as I do this exploration, I'm not, that mainstream society isn't the only way, the only place I can live, right? Because I need to live somewhere. We're all social beings. I need to live among community, and to identify with different groups and with different labels has been a really helpful part of my process. That being said, I'm just kind of playing around with that, and I'm really grateful for it, but I do want to be majorly respectful of people who aren't just playing around with it, but have this identity and have done a lot of work to make that possible for themselves. So I just wanted to say that. In terms of the gender fluid thing, so I've been thinking a lot about how the most profound experiences in my life have all been beyond gender. And some of those experiences have been very, very much embodied in bodies that have sexual parts. So the most profound example I could think of is being in the birth room as a doula. This is a really amazing thing. The fact that I have a uterus means that me being in the birth room, even if I weren't to say anything encouraging or do anything for the mom, just me being in the birth room with a uterus, our uteruses talk to each other, and there's all the evidence that the woman will have indicators of a healthier labor process, faster, less interventions. My having a uterus matters in ways that I'm not even totally conscious of. And the birth room is also the place where I've seen a woman be the most empowered, the most fierce, the most powerful. It's also where I've seen, the more stereotypically feminine qualities of surrender, of sacrifice and devotion for another being. The birth room is such an incredible place to learn what womanhood means. And what's so interesting is that actually, as a doula, a lot of my job is to help women get over some of the ideas of what women should be, right? Because in the birth room, it's gnarly, there's blood. A birthing mom is I've never been in a birth room where she hasn't shat at some point in the process, right? While we're in the birthing room. And all of these things, like I've had women be like, I can't, right? I can't let go down there because I think I might poop a little bit. It's like, nope, you are going to poop a little bit and you do need to let go down there. And that's how this baby's coming out. But our ideas about women, right? The gender construct of a woman, a birthing woman busts right out of that. And so it's just really interesting to me that the social constructs around being a woman are actually contra to nature's like what nature set us up for, and this conflict between having a female embodiment and being a feminine type or like a platonic ideal, that's the conflict where I feel like I've been doing a lot of work. Social constructs come with a should baked in, right? They come with values baked in. What's a good woman, right? Or when are you achieving the ideal and when are you not? And when we have shoulds that are contra to our true nature, our embodied nature, then we are destined for all this confusion that I've had my whole life, for the experience of failure when we don't meet it, for shame when we fail, and then for all the illnesses that come from shame and disconnect and discord. Emotional, mental, and physical, and these things manifest physically. Because when we're ashamed and we're afraid, right, we're releasing cortisol, it's damaging. And so for me, I said in the last video, like I started calling my body my animal creature body and trying to treat it like I would like a beloved pet. Like, oh, you need this? Okay. Not, oh, you don't really need to go out and pee right now. You're fine. Right? Which is how I've been treating some of my physical needs for cuddles or comforts, my desires, my sexual desires. There's a lot of stuff that I said, oh, but I don't want that. You're not supposed to want that, right? Because of my constructs from womanhood or any of the other ideas, basically, that I have, any of the other ideals that I've set up for myself about what I should be and what's valuable. And so falling back into my embodied experience has been the big part of the practice. And, this is where I breathe, where I have a menstrual cycle, where I experience my desires, and I experience my authentic yes for what I crave and need, and I experience my authentic no when there's a boundary, when something isn't healthy for me. And the body isn't straight lines, it's curves, it's cycles, it's rhythms, and it's not locked doors, right? It's diaphragms, and it's that in and out and letting things move. And through honoring my embodied experience and what it actually is and what it actually does and what it actually needs, that's been how I've been kind of disempowering some of the ideas and the constructs. And the power of this, and to answer somebody's question, she pronouns are okay with me, right? Because for me, it's about, being a space holder, a womb haver. That works for me, but letting go for me, I can embrace that and still let go of the idea of being a feminine type. And as I've been doing this, the benefit isn't so much about belonging to a new identity or a new group. It's about how it frees me to just be more authentic. And I'll tell you, I am calling in more authentic relationships and finding myself in spaces where I feel like I am beyond gender, seen and heard and cared for. And it's really nourishing and wonderful. So this is what I've been working with. And it reminds me of this translation of the Yoga Sutras that I've been kind of developing and working with. The translation of what Samadhi is Samadhi is the experience of letting the other, in this case it's your meditation object, your mantra or your image or whatever that you're meditating with, but it's really about how we relate to everything in the world. It's when whatever is right in front of us reveals its inner luminosity to us. So Samadhi, enlightenment, right? The enlightened being is going around the world setting everybody free. And a free being, it turns out, reveals a luminousness, an inner beauty, an innate value. And so the way that I see it, this is the work that I'm doing, is to turn toward myself and set myself free by not putting myself in the cages of these constructs, and these try to fit, it's like trying to fit myself into a box, and then, and all of my messiness and funkiness and meanness, right, like smooshes and explodes out of the box. It doesn't stay. And so I've been doing that work for myself, really important. I do it for myself, and I've been trying to go around and do it for everybody else, to set whoever's in front of me free. And what happens is then we just get to actually be with each other in reality. We actually get to be present with each other without projecting on each other, without shoulding on each other, without trying to trap each other in these cages. So to close, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for setting me free, for giving me the space to do this messy process as I make discoveries about myself, to try out new language and to try out new identifications, and to do this, to do this work. And I hope to be a safe space for you too, to fumble your way free and to stumble your way home.